What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Crown Racing Code video. In this video, you can see I'm leaning on an LS3 here, and my 2015 Camaro is right behind me. In this video, I ended up pulling the LS3 engine out of this Camaro and stroking it to a 416 cubic inch engine, which is a 6.8 liter. The way we're gonna start this video is we're gonna go back in time, and I'm gonna show you guys the engine all stripped down, and I'm gonna show you everything from putting the crank into the block, and then from there forward. So with that said, let's get the video started. I hope you guys enjoy, and I cannot wait to hear what this 6.8 liter sounds like when it fires up for the first time. With any great engine build, it always starts with tedious tasks. It all starts with meticulously cleaning all the parts before you start final assembly. So as you guys can see, I got the block in the block washer, and we're going to clean the pistons and rods and everything thoroughly before we mate the pistons to the rods. And then after that, we'll get the piston rings installed on the pistons, and we will start popping these pistons into their holes. What I chose to do for this 416 build is I went 5 thousandths over. So the stock bore for an LS3 6.2 is 4 inches and 65 thou. The block is now 4 inches and 70 thou. That's 4.070. Now we're gonna weigh the connecting rods and the pistons. This way we know which piston should be mounted to which connecting rod so they all are even weight. Here's a quick shot of the engine block, and you can see where I notched the bottom of the cylinder walls for the new 4-inch stroke crank. The reason you notch the block is to make extra clearance for the connecting rod bolts. Without wasting any time, we have the crankshaft installed into the block. And as you guys can see, the weight alone from the 1/2-inch ratchet turns the crank. This is exactly what you want. Everything's turning freely, nothing's binding. Let's start talking about the parts I used to assemble the short block. Now, I went with a 416 stroker kit from CNC Motorsports, and I decided to go with an Eagle 4140 forged steel crankshaft with a 4-inch stroke, Eagle forged 4340 steel I-beam rods with ARP 2000 rod bolts, and to top it off, Mahle Performance Power Pack pistons, 4032 forged alloy. I chose to do these pistons because I'm not doing forced induction. This is going to stay naturally aspirated with a light touch of nitrous on top to get to the 600 wheel mark. And with the deck height and head gasket thickness I went with, the compression for this engine ended up falling at 10.9 to 1, which is perfect for what I want to do. I want to run on 93 octane alone. So this is the route I wanted to go. I want to get to around the 530, 550 rear wheel horsepower mark without nitrous, and then we'll do a little nitrous on top to get us to 600. Moving on to Valvetrain, I ended up going with a Texas Speed camshaft, and also got Johnson 2110R reduced travel drop-in race lifters for this engine build. This Texas Speed cam is the stage 1 stroker naturally aspirated camshaft. The cam specs I'll put down here in the bottom. This cam is absolutely ginormous, and you could not run this cam with stock pistons. And you'll see why right here. Here's the piston to valve clearance for the intake valve, and you can see the dent it made in the clay, and it goes into the valve relief there. Plenty of clearance for my build. Moving on to the cylinder heads, these are the Texas Speed Brawler heads, CNC ported. They come with a slightly larger exhaust valve, and me and my coworkers made a couple modifications to them to improve flow. We blended the floor and got rid of a couple bumps on the floor of the intake port, and also a bump on the steel insert under the 45 degree. We added a back cut, relief back cut to the exhaust valve to also improve flow. To finish everything off, we did a relief cut on both sides of the intake and exhaust. ports in the chamber to increase flow, and also lapped all the valves in. Now here's the final flow numbers all the way to the right for the aftermarket heads, and you can see we picked up a lot of flow compared to the stock heads. I had some free time, so I decided to laser engrave the front timing cover and put the company logo on it, because why not? Decided to go with a Melling high volume oil pump, and I'm installing it right here, finishing assembling the front of the engine. One of the last crucial mods you need to do when you stroke your LS3 is you need to space the windage tray up away from the crankshaft so the connecting rod bolts don't hit it. I decided to use 2 washers to space the windage tray up. I did not use any washers on the stud where the oil pickup tube bolts to, because I wanted the oil pickup tube to stay in the stock location. So I cut a big window to make sure the connecting rod right next to that stud does not hit the windage tray. As you can see, the clearance here is pretty tight, and in this specific video, the windage tray is not even bolted down right now, so the clearance is even tighter. Moving on to installing the oil pan, we're getting pretty close to the end of this engine build. Once we get this done, we can start installing the cylinder heads. First thing we need to do is install the Cometic MLS head gaskets. Now we're going to install the cylinder heads, make sure they're seated properly, and start installing the cylinder head bolts, torque to spec. Same thing for the other side. And to finish everything off, we did the Comp Cams trunnion upgrade kit to the stock rockers. And here you'll see me, I'm checking the lifter preload as I'm choosing which push rod length to go with and doing final install of the push rods and rocker arms. Lifter preload for these Johnson lifters is 35 thou plus or minus 10. And a 7.4 inch push rod worked for almost all of the cylinders. I had to use a little bit shorter push rods on a couple exhaust valves. Now we have everything assembled. Almost done. Let's install the valve covers. All right, back to the present. Engine is completely built. We just got our Monster S Series twin disc clutch installed, and now it's time to do the part that's not so much fun, but it's worth it in the end. We gotta put this whole hunk of metal in that car. So it's just me and Steve today. It's about 30 degrees outside, if you can see my breath, and we're about to get to work. So we'll put you guys on the tripod, do a little time lapse, get this in the car, and let's get it fired up. I cannot wait. so much fun. I'm so glad I signed up to do this.
Yeah, this is just my favorite.
After a little bit of wrestling, the engine is installed. So the next step me and Steve are gonna do is we're gonna get all the electrical connectors and the whole electrical wiring harness kind of laid out. The electrical harness down here at the bottom actually bolts to the oil pan. Figure out where all the grounds are gonna have to go behind the cylinder heads and stuff like that. And then once we have a really good understanding of getting the harness all back where it needs to go, this is it.
This is the to-do list.
Yeah, the table is getting cleaner by the minute. This is the intake manifold that's all covered up, but just start installing this stuff after the wiring is sorted. So we got the water pump, AC compressor, starter, alternator, coil pack, accessory brackets, and
so once this table is clear, we can start it and hear it for the first time.
Yes, we can start it.
Okay.
We're getting very close.
Let's plug in 10 billion sensors.
Looks good?
Looks good. Put it on.
If you're watching this video, spend the money and get a 2-post lift in your garage. Working on the floor is not worth it.
How many years?
Especially when you're turning 30.
Yeah, how many years you been doing this?
I don't know, since I could drive.
Get a 2-post lift, kids. Don't be like us.
It's manageable, but there's better ways to do things, and this ain't the right way.
We're getting to the final stages now. Putting some oil in it, huh?
Yep.
Intake on, coils all hooked up.
We are getting close.
We're about to burn some gas.
So it's a new day. The engine install is completely done. I've already put about 200 miles on the Camaro now. The tune has been modified and the car's running a lot better. So right now I'm gonna let you guys listen to a cold start. I'm gonna take it for a drive, get it hot, and then I'll let you guys listen to the hot idle with the tune being corrected for the bigger displacement camshaft cylinder heads. So let's get it started.
It is so loud.
Yeah,
it is loud.
It's in loud mode right now. I like my cars with big cams and no mufflers.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you got it.
So I put a twin disc monster clutch and it's really nice. The clutch pedal effort's really light. It feels like the stock clutch. But the nice thing is now we have a clutch that can support 700 rear wheel horsepower. It's good to be back in this car.
It's good to be back. It's been a long 5 months.
Dude, it sounds so good.
I bet.
It sounds so good.
I bet.
Having fun?
Yeah.
Car day. Dude, I cannot explain to you how like raw this car sounds from the outside. Those downshifts are so crisp. It sounds mean, and I know you're not even revving it out because you're still breaking it in.
Just breaking it in.
It is a very intimidating car now, if it wasn't already before.
Oh yeah. So here's what the hot idle sounds like.
Oh, it's cammed out. It is cammed out.
All right, you guys know the deal. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next video.